Hey everyone, I'm Heinz and welcome back to my channel. And in today's video, we're going to revisit Dark Moon EA. Now, Dark Moon uses the Dark Absolute Indicator, and I previously featured it on my YouTube channel about 2 years ago in June of 2023. However, at the time, I was still using the grid and martingale settings, as we can see from the big difference between the equity and balance graph, and I wanted to take another look at how I would look at this EA if I was a new trader today. Now, if we head over to the MQL5 website and look at the Dark Moon page, which is available for both MetaTrader 4 and MetaTrader 5, we can see that the Expert Advisor already has 404 reviews with a rating of 4.61, as well as a bunch of comments and questions showing that there's recent interaction with this robot that was published in 2021. Now, the entry signals for the strategy is based on the Dark Absolute Trend Indicator, which, as I previously saw, does generate some good signals. And it's also important to look at the time frames, which includes the 5-minute, 15-minute, or the hourly for day trading. Now, whenever looking at any new Expert Advisor, I always want to take a closer look at the developer and see how long they've been creating EAs and indicators, and is it possible that they have some signals to show what their tools do in the live market results. As always, backtests do differ a lot from what you see from a live account, but it's a great place to start testing what a strategy can look like. So if we look at the developer Marco, and we see he's already been developing for more than 8 years with over 2,800 demo downloads, we see it's MetaTrader has established themselves as a developer on the MQL5 marketplace. They also have a few signals. And if you'd like me to review any of the other Expert Advisors on his page, make sure to let me know in the comments down below. Now, as we continue back to the EA that we're featuring today, which is Dark Moon, we'll have a look at one of the recommendations for trading this EA in the live market. Now, if we head back to the Dark Moon page, it's important to notice that it does require a large amount of customization. And in the past, I did use the martingale and grid function. However, this is a high-risk trading approach, and I'd rather look at using the same pairs, but removing that aspect of the Expert Advisor. Now, it's always important to use a high-quality broker that offers an ECN account and also a low-latency virtual private server, or VPS, to get the best results with your trading EAs. Now, I've also included a link for the installation and update guide, and you'll also find a troubleshooting guide for those of you that get stuck, as well as an FAQ, and there's also a MetaTrader 4 version as well. I'll also add a MetaTrader 4 version of the set file for those of you trading on MetaTrader 4. Now, with this new approach where I don't use the grid and have a stop loss and take profit for EA, I've already been testing since October of 2025. And on this small account, using a fixed 0.03 lot, it's already generated over 1% in return, winning for 43% of the trades, but a very healthy average win of 6.4 to an average loss of 2.28, or in other words, 31.20 pips with a negative 9.8, giving us a profit factor of 2.10. So this is a set file called number 9020, and if we look at the exact settings I was using on the USD CAD, I was running it on the 15-minute time frame using a fixed lot of 0.03, and for the money management you can also select the option of true and then set a risk percentage according to your own preferences. Then if we look at the Dark Absolute Trend, which is the trigger for the strategy, I did update the time frame to the hourly, and also increased the dark absolute trend period to 85. On top of this, I selected the first strategy, which is the buy bull arrow and sell bear arrow. Now I also changed the trading hours according to broker server time from 7 to 2200 hours for GMT plus 3. And it's trading 5 of the trading ways, as well as the trading directions are set to true, true and true. Now, very important, it doesn't use any grid or martingale settings, so the maximum buy orders is fixed at 1 and the maximum sell orders is also fixed at 1. On top of this, I've also disabled all of the grid options by changing these to false, meaning that each trade now has a set stop loss and take profit, which we can adjust and test in the settings down below. Now, by removing the grid function, what we've done effectively is use a strategy that has a take profit of 500 points and a stop target of 250 points. Or in other words, a stake target of 50 pips and a stop loss target of 25 pips. Now, each stop target can either be set to default or first order. Then for this strategy, I also use a trailing stop set at 170 and 70. And it also closes all of the trades on Friday, meaning that each weekend it closes all of these trades, which allows you to also take a rest period and means when the market opens, you won't have any nasty surprises. So now that we've looked at the gain stop settings, let's look at what a strategy test would have done starting in the 10th of January 2022. And if we look at the graph, there are periods of sideways movement, but overall it's able to generate a very healthy return on 100k starting balance. It gave us a total net profit of over $2,765 using a risk percentage of 1 with an equity drawdown of only $1,500. This gave us a profit factor of over 1.4, which is one of the first things I look at whenever I look at the backtest of any of these expert advisors. Now, what I'll include is a link in the video description and the pinned comments where you can get this set file for Dark Moon EA, which runs on the 15-minute time frame. However, the indicator runs on the hourly. As always, to get the best results with any expert advisor, it's important that you have the right tools for the job. So it's important that you use a VPS or virtual private service with a low latency, as well as either an ECN or low spread account. Now, if you enjoyed the video and my approach to trading expert advisors, make sure to drop the video a like, also subscribe and turn on the bell for future notifications. Until next time, happy trading. Bye.